welcome to Nintendo Nostalgia, special mini number 5. I'm your host, Jacob Russ, and I'm with my co-host, Ryan Black, and we are back, and we are playing with power. Ryan, do we have a special episode for the fans today?
Yes, I am so excited. We are getting into video game music, and not just any video game music, the ones that really shaped our lives and really touched us. We had to pick 5 out of our lists to narrow it down, and let me say, that was really tough for some of us.
Yeah. I mean, this is an episode I've really kind of wanted to do for a long time, just for fun. There are video game podcasts out there that are about just music, and we're not at all trying to be like them. I mean, for example, I listen to the Super Macardo Bros a lot, and I recommend you guys go check them out. But they bring a lot more of a musical viewpoint to how the song is constructed and done. Our show is all about nostalgia, and music plays a key pivotal part to our nostalgia. I mean, I've heard many comments of what you guys like from the show is when you hear the song play, and it just takes you back to when maybe when you turned on Star Fox 64 for the first time, or you were playing it with your buds. That is what music's all about. It takes you back to those times. And over the past, couple of years, I've really just grown to get video game music soundtracks, and I legitimately listen to the video game music more than I do traditional real music. And that's coming from somebody who's in a band for over 8 years now. So we're really excited about this, and I know for me, it was very hard. I mean, the list that we have put together today is not at all, this is not ranked by like our number ones to our least favorites. Like I love all the tunes I picked, and I had to leave some amazing ones out just because to narrow it down. So, we're actually recording this episode 2 weeks early than this episode is actually airing. And that is simply because I'm going to be out of town. I will be in Seattle, Washington with family on just a little family vacation. And we don't have time to record a show while I'm out there. So we're going to record it now, get it done, and get it ready for you. So, Ryan, I don't think we should waste their time. Are you ready?
Yes, I just want to say hello to the future people out there listening to this episode.
Hello. That song you heard starting off the show was theme song from Super Mario 64 from Koji Kondo. That, Ryan, I don't know about you, but that intro, it is one of the most peaceful intros I've ever heard. One of the peaceful musics I've ever heard. Like, I could play that song over and over again on repeat. I love the simple instrument that Koji's using for the song. It makes my heart happy when I hear that. It really is like an inspirational piece, I feel like. And it was a great way to start off a game, Mario 64 alone.
Yes, I agree. It was a great way to bring this episode into focus on what we're doing here, to take us back. And I think that's something that speaks to everyone. Most people have played Super Mario 64, or at least heard that intro, like walking into a store during the time that was out, and they had demo systems up. And you could hear that, and you could try it out. And just that Mario sound hooks you. It really does. And that's a great way to introduce this episode to our guests.
Absolutely. And, with no time to waste, Ryan is going to kick us off with bringing his first song to the show.
This song you might recognize from Ice Climbers. This was simply called Title Screen, and the composer was Akito Nakatsuka.
Oh man, nice pronunciation there. I'm glad you had that one instead of me. I don't know if I could have said that right. Yeah, so Ryan, I mean, I didn't select this song, but this song, when I hear Ice Climbers, when I see Ice Climbers, I think of you because you came over to my house a lot when I was younger, and we played the crap ton out of Ice Climbers. Why is this something that you wanted to bring to the table today?
This is an early Nintendo memory for me, and it's of me sitting on my floor in front of a big tube TV next to my dad, and the two of us trying to play it together and trying to work our way through and get further in the game and getting frustrated that we kept dying. And I can't tell you how many times he told me just to put it away because I started throwing the controller and getting upset. And we worked on this together. It was a great bonding thing for us, and that's just an extremely special memory for me. And it did my heart so great to see them pop up in Super Smash Brothers Melee.
Yeah.
Because I needed to see that represented, and I'm hoping to see them represented in the future. But that song just really speaks to me on a nostalgia level from early childhood memories with my dad.
Well, and I think the Ice Climbers are really special characters, and I love that story about you and your dad just bonding over this game. Because it's a shame that they weren't in the latest Smash Brothers, because I remember seeing them in Melee for the first time in years. Like that was like the first sign of daylight that Nintendo was like, hey, yeah, we haven't forgot about these guys. We know they exist. And I hope they do something. I would love to see the Ice Climbers get a legit game of their own. And they can bring back this music and make it up to date. But no, that jingle, it takes me back to being, a 2-year-old? Just a little boy. No, great pick, man. I really like it. So we're going to transition into my first pick of the episode. I hope you all enjoy this little beautiful piece. Listening to right now is Dire Dire Docks from Super Mario 64, composed by Koji Kondo, the man himself. Ryan, out of all the songs that I could pick, and especially from Mario 64 a lot, which is my favorite Mario game of all time, the song I think hits the most special in my heart from this game, especially, is Dire Dire Docks, and it's such a beautiful piece. Again, it takes me back to 1998 and 1999, back when I was exposed to the game, playing it with Brad Hunsinger, and at the time, you don't think about it, like it's just a song, it's just music in the background, but when I hear it today, it takes me back to the simplicity of being a child, and where the only thing I had to worry about was beating Bowser or whatever bad guy was in the video game. And no, I really like this. It really takes me into a submersive time of the good old days, and it makes me miss him. I cherish it. The time we're in now, but hearing a song like this, I just feel peaceful. I feel at ease, and it might sound silly, but if you really just listen to the beauty of the song, it can bring a tear to your eye. Sometimes I'll just listen to it, and it just takes me away, and it just helps you forget about the struggles in life that we do go with, or the chaos that goes on in the world, and that's one reason why I really like this piece. What's your history with Dire Dire Docks?
This is actually the first Super Mario 64 song that I ever heard. I was over at, I think it was like a graduation party or something like that, and there was some kids much older than me were playing in the side room. They were playing Super Mario 64, and they were in this level, and they handed the controller to me and had me swim around a bit. And I didn't quite grasp the concept of breathing, and really, even knowing that there's like this breath meter where you can like drown, like that didn't really affect me too much, because the song really just invoked this tranquility in me. and I didn't feel the urge to need to get to like life or collect coins or anything to breathe or anything like that. I could just sit there all day. I don't even care. I just listen to the music and then die and then be like, oh, well, I probably should not get like completely absorbed in the music as I was. But it evokes this tranquility that no other song has, and I can't separate this from thinking of like undersea and water levels now.
Right. Well, and it's funny that they even chose this format of a song for a water level because you don't. This song to me, when I hear it, it doesn't scream adventure and hit bad guys and collect stars. It doesn't. But when you play the game and it all mixes well together, and Nintendo struck gold with this music piece. I have to say, it's probably not just mine. I think a lot of people really enjoyed this music piece.
The theme of Super Metroid was my pick for the next song. It was composed by Kenji Yamamoto. This song really takes me back to my formative years when I started getting into music in video games. And this song really has kind of a intro that has like a haunting sound to it. And when they show it, it's panning this scene of almost destruction, where if you look closely, you'll see like dead bodies laying on the floor, which is kind of creepy. And so when you see this, you have this sense of dread, and then the music picks up, and there's this heroic music that comes sweeping in, and you feel kind of powerful with that. And then all of a sudden, like this haunting chorus starts going on while the heroic music is going, and it just really draws you in and makes you feel these emotional feelings of like, I could do anything, and something really sad has just happened. I just lost someone, and I'm going to be a hero and avenge them. And that is all captured in this amazing, amazing piece of music.
Yeah, I mean, it's no coincidence that Nintendo just announced 2 new Metroid games, Metroid Prime 4, and we're getting a game this year of a 2D side-scroller for the 3DS of Metroid Samus Returns. And when you just hear the Metroid music, it doesn't matter which game it is. Once you hear it, Metroid's always about like atmosphere and isolation. The music legitimately just transforms. It transforms my mind into this mission mode of survival, and that's what I love about it. Like the music really does a great job at just putting you in the mood. You know, sometimes you just gotta be in the mood to play a game.
Yes.
And like I could be playing Banjo-Kazooie all the time, but as soon as I hear the tone of Metroid, it just flips the switch on in me. So like Ryan, when we just played that and we heard that, I mean, that's the feeling that comes. It makes me want to go grab my Game Boy or whatever and start playing Metroid right away. I love the Metroid music.
It does draw you on. It does hook you. And I can say, like, I could play this game over and over and over again. When I hear the music, I don't necessarily want to listen to the music on its own because it is atmospheric, but it makes me want to go and experience that again. It draws me into that experience, and it grabs you like an expert piece of music in a video game should. Yes, you have songs that get caught in your head. This isn't that type of song. This is a...
Right.
grab you and pull you into the environment, and you get absorbed into the world to where you completely leave the world around you and you're in the game.
When I hear this song, it takes me back to. It's funny. This game came out in 1994, I believe, for the Super Nintendo, but I never had a Super Nintendo, and I didn't even know. I only knew a little bit of Metroid, and I really dived in once I knew you. But I actually think a lot of Super Metroid back for the Wii to Wii U days, because that's when I actually got the game on Virtual Console and played it. So it's kind of funny. These memories irk feelings for me, and memories of when I just got married to Becca back in like 2012. It which wasn't that long ago, but it kind of is to this point. How imagine it's crazy how time flies. But I think of, and this is the thing with all Metroid games, I think of cold winter nights, because all my Metroid games I've played have always been in the winter, and so and I think that's appropriate for how the music sets it up, just cold and isolated. Now, how fitting, Ryan and I didn't plan on this, but my next pick actually rolls right in from what Ryan was saying. You are listening to Kraid by Hip Tanaka from the original Metroid game. Oh my gosh, Ryan. So if there's one thing about the Metroid music direction, like I love, the atmospheric feels like Prime and where they've gone with the series. But what I miss the most about Metroid games is they really got away from making melodic songs like this, where it felt like a legit song. This is a classic to me. When I hear this song, I think of back when Metroid Prime and we had Metroid Prime and Metroid Fusion released, okay, together that year, and when we were playing it, I remember, this is exact memories that come to my head. We're downstairs from my parents' house, away from the living room, and that's kind of like the game room at the time. And Ryan and I are playing our separate games, and Ryan's helping me out through stuff. But I had unlocked, this was my first experience with the original Metroid game. I had unlocked Metroid, the original one, through the GameCube. Remember you could do that with Prime?
Yes.
How did you do that? I can't remember exactly how it happened.
I believe that was a connectivity feature with the Game Boy Advance if you connected Fusion.
Okay, yeah, because you got the suit in Metroid Prime. You could play the Fusion suit.
Yes.
And then it also unlocked that. You're right, yes. But I remember grinding my way through this game and getting to Kraid and trying to work through this very difficult NES game. Very hard for how complicated it was. No real map system or whatever, but I was stuck in this area for a lot. But it's a good thing that they had such a good song to entice me. Maybe that's why I remember it so much. Just the 8-bit sounds. Like, I've heard other versions of this, and actually I think the first time I ever heard it would have been on Smash Bros. Melee, when you fight in the Kraid level.
Oh, that level.
That's a fun, unique level, and the music's great, but I don't think there's anything better than the original NES sound. I mean, maybe, don't get me wrong, I like other versions. I like to mix it up, especially the Metroid Metal version, but this is a classic to me, and this takes me back to those, again, not a time of when it first was released on the NES, but during the GameCube days. I associate this song with the GameCube, with Melee, and then getting it on Prime again. That's why I love it. Again, it's another winter moment. You always came over for our New Year's Eve parties at my family's house, and I cherish those memories, man, especially just hanging out with you and playing these games. What do you think about Kraid? I mean, does it do the same thing for you, being a big Metroid fan and all?
The original, obviously, is the poster, the intro. The original is really the poster, the intro to Kraid, and its simplicity is what captures it. They have done it so many different times in so many different ways, but the original takes you back to that core melody, that core tune, and it gets caught in your head. It really does.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes I find myself just like humming along to it, like, wait, where did that come from? It's definitely a classic. It's really funny that you brought up Melee, because that's my next pick. Super Smash Bros. Melee, this intro hooked me and got me so excited for the series. The second it shows Mario pop up on the screen as a trophy, and this energy like flows up over him, and he becomes alive, and he starts fighting. And this intro, like, I was a big fan of the original Smash Brothers, and so when they took this trophy idea and had them come to life, it kind of fit the whole like toy box theme of the first one, where they had like kind of Master Hand like moving around and stuff, and this like took these toys and made them trophies, and then they came to life. And this music specifically, it empowers you to. It's kind of a call to battle at the beginning, and it really brings you into this fighting spirit. And it's kind of an orchestrated piece. Later, this intro brought a lot of memories of tournaments and playing against friends. Like, everywhere I went, there was a video game thing, we were playing Smash Brothers Melee. That is what we did. And it was just this awesome experience, and so, like, it became this centerpiece in that time of my life. And, like, as soon as I heard that song, I'm like, hey, let's go play Smash Brothers. Let's go do this.
Oh yeah, I mean the theme to this game, Melee was my first like introduction into GameCube, because I remember going to your house on a Super Bowl party, and I didn't have the GameCube. It was something that I longed for. I really wanted, but my parents were going to buy me a new system, because in my mom's mind, I just got the 64, even though it was like 5 years ago. It was something I had to save up for myself to buy, but I remember going to your house Super Bowl Sunday, and you and your cousins were all playing Melee. You were playing in the Kraid level, ironically, actually. I vividly remember walking in, and you're in your little TV in your bedroom, and everyone's playing against Kraid. And this game is, I think when people think of the GameCube, they think of Melee, hands down. It's got to be, at least I think the majority of people think of Melee. And to me, Melee led the charge for the GameCube era. And it is such an epic song to just introduce Nintendo in general, and which was one of the best games they probably ever made to this date. So yeah, great pick, man. I really like this song.
I like how the song builds and builds and builds, and then it gets to this crescendo, and then it just completely backs off, and it has this kind of elegant, like, flowy music going,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of like a peaceful, and then like it revs back up again at the end, and it just gets this grandiose, keeps building and building and building, and there's an explosion at the end, and it just, my goodness.
They did a great way of incorporating the theme of all of Nintendo's characters that were in the game. You know, that's the best part of the song, is you get a little bit of Star Fox, you get a little bit of Kirby, you get a little bit of Zelda and Mario. Like, they just did a great job of just making it flow that this is Nintendo world, you know. So great pick. I love that one, Ryan. So I'm actually we're not going to do another segue into another song. I swear we haven't been planning this, actually. It just kind of happened that way. So here is my epic next pick. Oh, baby, yeah, I love this song. Lockjaw, that was Lockjaw Saga from Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest by the legendary David Wise. Ryan, when I hear this song and I hear them drums just kick in, like, and I feel like this is the most perfect song for an adventure. Like, that's what this is all about. Diddy's on a conquest. He's trying to save Donkey Kong. And he's trying to prove to everybody and to Cranky that he is a hero. He's not just a sidekick. This song can go with anything in life. I mean, if you're on the war field or if you're on a serious mission and you play this song in the background, like, I won't lie. Everyone knows I like to pump a lot of iron, and like, this song is jamming in my headphones. Especially, this isn't the Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze version, but they redid it for the game. And it's just longer, and it is more up to date with the sounds and technology. But I love this song, and believe me, Donkey Kong Country 2, that whole soundtrack is probably my favorite soundtrack of all time. And it was hard to choose, and I didn't want to just make my whole list from that album. But this song is definitely one that takes me back to being a kid, takes me back to Traven and the Super Nintendo days. It really just gets my adrenaline going. I love this song a lot.
This song makes me want to play as Dixie Kong. I love Dixie Kong, and I just wish that we could have more games with Dixie Kong. And no meaning to slam your Diddy.
I mean, they're in it together, so I mean, it's fine. Dixie, honestly, I like to play with Dixie more than I do Diddy in the game because she's you can control her a lot better. I think she's the better character overall. But
so this song really is set in a dark level. Where you have to go through, and there's a fish, an angler fish with the light shining.
Right.
And you have to do a water level. But not just do a water level, but you have to do it pitch dark. And like that, you know how water levels are.
Right. Well, I mean, if you know me, you know this. My favorite, no, not my favorite, it's the exact opposite. The levels I hate the most are water levels. I hate them because I hate big fish. I don't like the beach. I don't like sharks. I'm always scared that someone's going to jump out at me and eat me. But like the level starts off and the drums literally just come in, boom, 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 and Diddy and Dixie are falling into this ship that is flooded all on the inside of it. And you're right, it's pitch black in the level. And but the music, it pumps me up to like let's go, let's do this, let's get this done, let's get the job done. That's why I love this song. I mean, it really it excites me. That's enough for me. I mean, I could talk about it all night, but Ryan, I know you got a couple more picks here.
My next pick is a GameCube pick. This is one that it's not necessarily a hugely popular game, but it's something that speaks a lot to me because the soundtrack was superb.
Dreaming of the stars on high that speak to me in secret sighs, drifting on a breeze. Only I can feel and hear.
I picked Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles opening intro when you first start up a new game. This song, it reminds me of like this medieval voice like singing to these adventurers before they go out on their adventure, just kind of like encouraging them and makes them want to go out and explore and do valiant things. And I felt like that was a great way to kick off this whole game of this where you all work together with friends and you go exploring and you have to survive in this harsh environment in order to collect basically drops of dew from these trees to help energize your crystal and keep your whole town alive. And this kind of throws me back to a medieval feel. And just this world, it throws you into this musical, almost like a Celtic. This is just this Celtic world, and the vocals in this, there's both a Japanese version and an English version, and I prefer the English version because of the dueling vocals where they say "just wait and see" as they sign off at the end of the song, and that really just kind of, I felt like that sums up everything and brings it all to a close, and you feel like, yeah, that was a fun song to go through. It was like an adventure in and of itself. It makes you want to get into the game.
I mean, I don't have much of a taste for it myself. I don't have much nostalgia for Crystal Chronicles. I have a little bit, but I mean, no, it's a nice little piece there, and it's different. You know, it's not the same old thing that you get from all the other Final Fantasy games. It definitely carves itself a nice little piece in time there for on the Nintendo GameCube specifically, but and Nintendo in general and Final Fantasy. All right, so now we're going to get into another special treat that I find very, very delightful from my own past. Clock Woods from Banjo-Kazooie, made by the one and only Grant Kirkhope himself. Ryan, this song takes me back again to 64 Days of Summertime with Brad Hunsinger. You know, we would always play like outside. We'd play like Capture the Flag. We had like bunch of neighbor kids that were around our age, and we'd always be outside and playing. So we had I say a fair share of gaming and being outside in nature. In Click Clock Woods, if you've ever played the game, it is a very unique level. You do different parts of different seasons of the level. So, like, there's a fall, a winter, a spring, and a summer aspect to it. But you switch between the seasons. So you do something in the season of spring, and it will have an effect in the season of I don't know, fall, for example, or summer, to achieve different goals for that level, to collect all the jiggies. But when I hear this song today, it just takes me back to being a kid and playing outside in nature and with Brad, and then coming inside on a hot summer June or July day and just chilling the rest of the evening with dinner and playing Banjo-Kazooie. That's why I really like this song. This is one of my most favorite songs from that whole game, which is my favorite game of all time, by the way.
Now, do you think that they captured really well the seasons in this song? Because they had a song playing the level. Do you think that it really kind of encapsulated those and brought you into each season when you were playing in those worlds, or those areas, I should say?
Yeah, and that's one thing actually that's really unique about this level, is that you don't hear it on here. This is kind of just like the generic, I think it's a springtime actually that you hear, but when you go into each season, the song actually changes to fit the season. So if it was in the winter, it would sound more Christmassy for like snowy time and stuff. No, that's a great point. That's another thing that makes this level so unique and makes Banjo-Kazooie the best game of all time.
You're essentially getting 4 songs in one level, and it's just basically a themed version of each song based on the season. This last pick, I may get a little bit of flack for because it's not originally Nintendo. It was originally put out on a Sega console, but it was brought to the GameCube later on. I hope you enjoy.
I
listening to Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, the song It Doesn't Matter by Tony Harnell. I love how this song starts out with a whistle and catches your attention. It's very much something Sonic would do when he runs into a room. It's, hey, listen up, this is my theme song.
Yeah, Ryan, you know what? I don't have an issue with this pick at all because, I mean, my first real introduction to Sonic was Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, and if there's one thing I admire about Sonic is I love pop punk, and especially when I was getting my GameCube and these times, when this game came out for the GameCube, what I loved the most about the game was the style of music, and there was no shame in picking this song. I really like your pick here. I think it just kind of like how the Diddy Kong song worked. This works in a different way. It really gets me excited. It gives me energy. It's energetic. That's the word I'm looking for. This is an awesome pick. This, again, takes me back to 6th grade and summer, because I got my GameCube right at the very start of summer of that year, and, dude, it is awesome. This is a great pick.
I like how in the lyrics it's like, it touches on Sonic has a steadfast heart of gold, but he also doesn't slow down and he doesn't stop for anything, and he sticks to his ideals. This is his creed. This is who Sonic is, and he does things the way he knows how to do them. And that's kind of inspiring for me. Like, never give up a fight. As long as I have the voice inside of me telling me to keep going and keep moving. Like, that's something that I'm able to apply to my own life. And so that speaks to me, and I somehow relate to Sonic in that sense, even though I'm not very speedy.
No, but awesome pick, dude. Great choice. I like that one. All right, but unfortunately, I think that was your last pick of the day. Is that correct?
That's the last one. What do you got for us?
All right, well, guys, I think we are going to get into a song here that I reconnected with, to be honest, last summer. And it was the very first time I ever heard it. And it's funny because the game I played a long time ago, it was one of those games that I had just played, but I never actually beat. And when I got to this point in the game, I was dearly enticed by the music that struck my ears. Final fight against the final boss on the legendary game Donkey Kong Country.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers, sorry. This is composed by the one and only David Wise. Oh my, Ryan, this song, when it struck my ears, I beat this game with Traven last year. He came over, I rebought it for the Super Nintendo. I had rebought, because I never owned one. This is actually my first Super Nintendo that I ever owned, and I bought this game, and we played through the entire game in one whole day. I mean, but when we got to the final boss, it shocked me because I thought we were going to enter another world. You know, you would go to the main hub screen, and you just click on the next world, and it takes you into a screen with all these other levels. But that wasn't the case at all. We went over to the ship off of Donkey Kong Island, and this music started to play, and I'm like, it surprised me. It really did. I was like, what? Are we at the end of the game? Is this the final boss? And what I love about the music is that, like, it is so quirky and silly. Like, this is not a final boss soundtrack that you would think. And it's King K. Rool, and he's just a big goofball. How he takes off his crown and throws it at you, and then he looks at the screen to make sure you're looking at him like, did you see that, what I just did? It's so silly and humorous, but then as you get deeper into the fight, the song transitions from being silly and goofy to all right, it's getting serious now. King K. Rool means business, and it's time to take him seriously, because the fight does get really fast. It does get really intense, and if you play Donkey Kong, you can't get hit twice if you have Donkey and Diddy or you lose, and you have to go through all this obstacles that he's going to throw at you. So again, it takes me back to being a kid with Traven playing Donkey Kong Country, but it takes me back to just last summer because that's when I first ever heard this tune, at least in this version of it. No, I love this. I love this track, man.
This is actually one of the first games I own on a Super Nintendo. So when I got to this level, it was many months after I had owned the system. I had a lot of trouble getting past some of the minecart episodes. There's a particular one towards the end that I had a lot of trouble with. I can't remember exactly which one it was. But when I finally got to the final boss, like, it was so cool to hear that, and like, he's such a goofball. Like, this boss, and like the music intro like kind of sets you up for like, this guy, can you really take him seriously? I didn't really think he was the final boss until like credits started rolling, and they were like fake credits. So I was like, oh well, this is silly and quirky. The credits are supposed to be this way. That's the end of the game. And then like I go through the credits, and it gets to the part where he comes back out again and starts fighting. Like, oh, you know what? I beat the game. That's good enough. But I ended there. But this song really is an oddball where it comes to, it's all happy and go lucky for a boss fight, and then it like really jettisons you into this seriousness. This you got to hunker down. And you got to take out this boss now. But it starts out with just this little like jingle, and it's so good.
Yeah, it definitely is. And if you guys have never played Donkey Kong Country and never gotten to this fight, you really need to do it because it is a memorable fight. It's one of my favorite boss fights of all time. So, that's on actually our most memorable boss fights episode that we recorded a while back. So go check it out. Well, Ryan, let's end off the show with another track from David Wise, Bonus Room Blitz from Donkey Kong Country. But man, Ryan, why don't you tell everybody real quick where they can find us, and we'll let them go.
You can now find us on dayspace.com. You can find us on iTunes and Google Play. You can join us on facebook.com/NintendoNOS. Find us on our Twitter @Nintendo_NOS. And if you want to shoot us an email, it's NintendoNostalgiaIN@gmail.com. If you guys have any interesting music tracks you'd like to share with us, maybe your favorite ones from Nintendo games, please submit them. Just post like a YouTube link on our Nostalgia chat or on our Nostalgia page. We'd really like to hear what you have for us.
Absolutely. But yeah, that's all we have for you guys today, so we'll catch you next time.
Later.